We're back here at Millgrove Truffles this year, and I'm going to be collaborating with Leanne, who's behind me hunting with her truffle dog Solly. We're going to be doing some hunts in July. I'm very excited about it, and we're going to be cooking up some different treats after the hunt as well for a fireside luncheon. Leanne and I are going to be spending the next week or so experimenting with various truffle recipes. She's actually hunting right now to get some of the early season truffles for us to play around with. And we're going to be putting together a little bit of a menu for everyone to enjoy after the hunt. If you would like to come along, there'll be more information in the description of the video. And yeah, we look forward to sharing the magic of truffles with you in this video. Let's go! Come on, soldier!
Leanne and her husband Scott grow black truffles, Tuber melanosporum, on 760 oak and hazelnut trees. It's always such a joy to join Leanne on a hunt in the orchard to dig up this buried treasure. There's a few things to look out for when hunting for early season truffles, and Leanne filled us in while we were hunting.
He looks like he's saying, well, they're all ready. There's a couple in here, isn't there, Solly?
So odour is good, but I'm just nicking them for colour because at the beginning of the season they can be a little bit chocolatey, and so I try to choose and only harvest the darkest ones. Oh, good boy.
You're looking for dark, black, brown.
Yeah. We have to still look, don't we? Because there could be still more in here. This has been a funny old season. Look here.
Oh! Oh my goodness.
No wonder we're getting impatient because it's the beginning of the year and you're showing off. So that's a bit...
Oh.
Every truffle pulled up from the ground at Leanne's orchard has its own unique flavour and aroma. There is always an underlying distinguishable truffle flavour, but it's definitely not what you get from a synthetic truffle flavoured oil. Truffles that ripen too early in the season often end up rotting in the ground, just like this one that Solly discovered.
Custard. Yucky. That's a yucky one.
It's not bad. Good for animals to eat.
Yep, no good. Chuck that away. Bigger and better one next year.
All cleaned up inside, we had quite the haul of early season truffles.
So, you know, everybody says pinkish skins means truffle's not right.
For that one.
Well, look how dark it is inside and pink skin.
Yep.
Definitely right.
Whilst Leanne prepared us some lunch to enjoy by the fire, we were busy getting to know the newest addition of the Millgrove team. Meet Millie, another Lagotto Romagnalo truffle dog just like Solly. Not only was she gorgeous, but she had the most lovely temperament for a little pup.
She got such a soft belly. Millie dog.
Sometimes the most delicious truffle-infused foods are the simplest.
What do you call this stuff?
This is called, I don't know, truffle sambo.
Truffle toasty.
Can you taste that truffle in the cheese or not? I like the fried truffle.
A cheese and truffle toasted sandwich is the perfect comfort food after hunting in the cold. Inspired by Leanne's delicious creation, we decided to whip up our very own the following day at the Ramshackle Ranch, using Swiss Gruyere cheese and French Comté for extra decadence. After a bit of trial and error, we discovered that 3 slices of each cheese with a generous 2 to 3 grams of grated truffle in the middle delivered us the perfect level of melted truffly cheese. So good. To pair with a toasted sandwich, Leanne and I decided on a soup. We wanted flavours that matched the earthy notes of truffle, so we decided to try making a Jerusalem artichoke soup, topped with truffle-infused cream and freshly shaved truffle. To make the truffle-infused cream, I sliced up around 10 grams of truffle and mixed them with 500ml or 2 cups of cream, as I was going to use the remainder of the cream to make a truffle-infused dessert. Jerusalem artichokes are also known as sunchokes. They're not related to the artichoke plant, but its edible tubers that I am peeling here have a very similar taste to artichokes, hence their name. They were first cultivated by indigenous peoples in the Americas and brought back to Europe by French explorer Champlain in the 1600s, where they thrived in the French climate. They reached their peak popularity at the turn of the 19th century, which, incidentally, was when truffles started to become more and more favoured in French cuisine. They are a prolific crop that grow incredibly well down here in Manjimup, with these tubers being planted and dug up at our friend's community garden plot. They are also known as a Canadian truffle, so it seemed they were destined to be the featured ingredient in our heartwarming soup.
Yum. That's so good. That truffle cream, a little hint of truffle in there. I only had it infusing for a couple of days in the fridge, filtered it and then poured it on top of the delicious artichoke soup. And those bits of truffle as well, they really let off a lovely aroma when you sip the soup. The soup is going to be just perfect paired with these simple, delicious toasted sandwiches.
Leanne has taught me that to get the most out of your black truffle, you should store them in a sealed container with your eggs. Doing this allows the truffle's aroma to permeate through the eggshell, infusing the white and the yolk inside. It's a really fantastic way to get double duty out of such an expensive and precious ingredient. Here I am using a whole truffle-infused egg to make basic mayonnaise using half a teaspoon of Dijon mustard, a dash of apple cider vinegar, salt, lemon juice, and neutrally flavoured MCT oil. With some freshly grated truffle mixed through, the taste of this mayonnaise is incredible and completely unrecognisable when compared with a synthetic truffle flavoured oil mayonnaise. But what to serve with this delectable mayonnaise? I had some smoked chicken leftovers from a barbecue at our place, so I decided to chop them up finely, make a thick bechamel sauce, and caramelise some onions. I then mixed all of this together with some herbs, rehydrated set mushrooms, and seasoning, forming it into balls and dipping into flour, egg, and panko breadcrumbs, ready for deep frying in tallow the following day once they had firmed up in the fridge. I thought this would be a fun dish to prepare and serve to folks, piping hot by the fire. It's also a lot less messy doing it outside by the fire than doing it on the stove inside. I'm getting pretty full now. This is the last thing to test for tonight, I think. Pretty yummy. I like the dill on top. Aioli's good. What do you think of yours?
Oh, was that the test? Or was that more truffle there?
That's the same thing that I was photographing.
Oh, I like it.
Photographing, cooking, filming, takes a lot of time. Liked it?
I do like it.
Good.
And our chicken, so I liked it even more. What else are you testing out? Dessert.
Yeah. I think we might have to have dessert for breakfast. So that was a smoked chicken with a truffle bechamel and truffle aioli croquette.
Oh look, there's another one here.
There's some aioli here too.
Gosh darn it.
After a couple of weeks of Truffle Test Kitchen, which we'd named the Truffle Lab, it was time to return to Leanne's to trial some more recipes and pick up some more truffles. A decadent dish using truffle as a vegetable, instead of as a seasoning or condiment, that Leanne had always wanted to try but never could because she didn't have access to one of the ingredients, was a whole truffle wrapped in lardo and baked in a salt crust. Lardo, the missing ingredient, is cured and aged thick back fat from a pig. Fortunately, we still had some of our very own lardo from when we butchered our pigs last year, so we were able to trial and taste this dish together. Here I am encasing Leanne's truffles in ribbons of this aromatic fat, warming it around my hand slightly so that it would wrap perfectly around the truffle. Next we mix egg whites with flaky truffle salt to form the outer crust to encase the whole truffle. A small baking dish lined with foil is required, so you can remove the truffle and salt crust once it is done. We covered the truffle with egg whites and salt mixture and baked in a hot oven for roughly 45 minutes. Once cool enough to handle, we removed the foil and knocked open the casing to reveal the delicacy inside. Oh, look at it! We tried it thinly sliced straight out of the oven and it was delicious. But we've decided to serve it on toasts with butter, a sprinkling of salt and a dash of walnut oil. Cheers! They're yummy. That's good. I reckon it's good. It's yummy. Today's a busy day for me in the kitchen. I'm mainly doing a whole lot of prep for a trial luncheon that Leanne and I are going to put on by the fire at Millgrove tomorrow. So we're going to put together all of the dishes that we've been testing over the last 3 weeks with truffles and see how our friends and family enjoy them. I've got this cream infusing. I'm just heating it up to melt the sugar and infuse the vanilla into it. And we're going to make a truffle cream, a vanilla truffle cream. So I'm just dissolving the sugar and using that heat to get the vanilla flavour into there. I scraped the seeds, I split the vanilla bean in half as best I could. It was a little bit brittle, but it smelled really good. So I split it in half and scraped the seeds and then just put the skins in there as well. We'll strain it tomorrow. But I'm going to try putting this through a whipped cream dispenser and serving it on top of a baked rhubarb. I'm not adding the truffle now because it's actually better to infuse truffle into cream without any heat. So I'm going to let this cool down and then we'll add the slices of truffle to this when we put it into the fridge. So that's something that I've learnt from Leanne. Like once you heat up the truffle, you lose a lot of that aroma and flavour. So you're actually a lot better to infuse everything at room temperature or at fridge temperature. And the flavour really does go through. You don't need to heat it up or anything like that. That's with these black truffles. It might be different with other truffles, but with these black ones, it's definitely better to infuse things at room temperature or when they're cold. I'm I'm heating up some cream here that has been infusing overnight with sliced truffles. So they're in here. I just poured out the cream and put the truffles back in here because I'm going to reuse these to infuse the cream that we're going to whip tomorrow to put on top of the rhubarb. But this cream that's been infusing in the truffles overnight in the fridge is going to be for our creme brulee, and I don't want it to get too hot because I don't want to lose that aroma, so I'm really keeping my eye on it. It's on a really low heat, but you do need a little bit of warmth to make the custard to make this creme brulee. Put my truffles in there, nicely sliced. I'm going to add the infused cream. This is sugar and vanilla cream. I think this is the secret to making creme brulee really truffly without using truffle oil. Putting the eggs with the truffles. I only need the egg yolks, but I'm going to be using the egg whites to make the baked truffle in a salt crust that I tried with Leanne a couple of weeks ago. It's really delicious, so we'll have egg whites that are already truffle infused to bake the truffle tomorrow. To my 8 egg yolks, I also added 2 full eggs and half a cup of caster sugar, stirring well to combine.
Oh wow, that smells really truffly.
I then poured in the warm infused cream to make up the custard. I'm just heating this up ever so slightly now, and then we'll put it into ramekins and bake it in the oven with water over at the sides. So I better actually get the kettle on. I filled each ramekin to the rim with the custard and filled the baking dish with boiling water coming up to halfway of the sides of the ramekin. I then popped them in the oven on a low heat for 40 minutes. You know that the creme brulee custards are ready when you pull them out of the oven and they have a slight jiggle. We left them to chill overnight in the fridge before trialling the brulee the following morning. It's a really nice custard. It's very truffly, but I like it. Rhubarb and truffle go really well together. I like this dish a lot. I'm not sure if we'll do it for the event because it's a bit hard to, I don't want to have to individually plate everything up. It'd be nicer to just give people a creme brulee. But this truffle cream is really nice with vanilla. Truffle and vanilla go really well together. I had to put walnuts on top because I don't have any hazelnuts, but if we do this one, we'll do hazelnuts, and we might even put a little bit of truffle honey over the top as well because Leanne's got honey infusing with truffle, which is really tasty at her place. Yum.
So that wraps up our cooking with truffles video. The dinner, well, we called it a fireside lunch, but it ended up being a very early dinner. That was a really great experiment. We got to sort of see what worked, what dishes were the best, got some feedback from our friends and family, which was really fantastic. So now Leanne and I have a solid idea of what we're going to be doing on that last weekend of June and for the weekends in July. So if you are interested in joining us for a hunt and some food by the fire, then there are tickets available online through the Millgrove Truffles website, and I've put links to that in the description below in the video. A bit of a delay with this video getting out to you all, even to our special patrons. Yeah, I just really wanted to get this one out so that you had a little bit of notice so you could book your place, because places are limited for that event. I hope one day, if you have access to truffles, or if you're in an area with truffles, you have a bit more of an idea of what to do with them now after this video. I really do think that storing them with your eggs is honestly the best trick that I've picked up from Leanne, and that infusion is really something special in the eggs, so it's worth trying if you ever end up with a truffle of your very own. This video only really showed the successful recipes. There were a lot of failures and things that didn't quite work out. Some things that were nice, but we didn't think they showcased the truffle enough. We actually had a failed quince experiment. I'm trying to turn the quince jelly into like a burnt toffee, but fortunately we have the pigs, so nothing's wasted. Even if I accidentally wasted a couple of truffles, it didn't really matter. And I have to thank Leanne and Scott for being so generous with their time, but more importantly with their truffles, because they let me take quite a lot of truffles so that I could experiment with them and bring you all this video. So I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit that like button. It really helps us out. And tell your friends and family that you think might be interested in truffle cooking, or that might be able to attend this winter and visit us and meet Leanne and I. If you haven't already subscribed to our channel, that would be fantastic. We've got heaps of homesteading content coming out. We're pretty busy with all our animals, and we've got a booming garden at the moment, so there's actually a couple of gardening videos coming up soon for you. So stay tuned, and we'll see you next time.